deep, we got them drowned in the undercurrent. The man I write a practice and we get the practitioners. Keeping them alive, it's like I'm needed them for soldiers. Never follow them, but they be moving shambolic. My side will be getting money, that's socio-economics. Throw them on their reverse and then set with discrepancies. I will always walk through your destinies. Set the template for what I've written on a piece of paper. And if I want, I won't be needed any mediator. Feeling hungry, then they start getting stood. They claiming they did it for me. Understood him. After the book is dropping on that out, and yeah, the jobs are good and slid in the deep. We got them drowned in the undercurrent. Hey man, everybody stand up if you ever had your baby fight back. It's someone. My view from the top of the moon, I can see the whole world sitting in my hand, amazing view. We finna break the rules, and we gon' make them through. I can't fall asleep, I gotta stand tall, that's what a leader do. Follow me, I'm leading you. And we finna turn up, turn up the heat, and they finna turn up. Tell them they time up. I said it once, I'ma say it again, this will be my year. I ain't gon' show no fear, I know that I'm built to equip for what God want me to do. I'm number one out the two, it don't know where I'ma lose. I hate the struggle, but it made me harder. I made it far, but I wanna go farther. It's not for me, this for my son and my daughter, my family tree and that order. I'm the chosen one, I'm wearing that jacket. I was down, now I'm up, now I was the underdog, now look who be left. I'm better than you guess, yeah. The champions, the champions.
All right, well, you can argue his kickbox.
Ready to fight? Ready. Do it.
Leon Rocky Edwards, the perennial.
Cooking in the hot sun. When push comes to shove, I'm a pot one. Say you and yes, young king, we got one. See you when we eating and they food from the pot done. Tell the people hold them heads and eyes up so we can organize the truth to rise up. I'm not a franchise, men survivors, sons and fathers, men for progress at all costs. Any minor setbacks is but a small cost. Not enough pressure for me to call a dog's off. I am more the spirit in charge than all y'all. So what is a messiah to a man? It's a lion to a man. I made history, the history began. Black excellence is what we consistently demand. Push the lighters up. Push up the Batman lighter. Fuck up the place now. Fuck up the place. Anyway, I did feel funky. My brothers and sisters, we roll with the purpose. Cause revolution
think of an increment, some Mansa from Abidjan to Abuja. I could paint an ambiance over the tuba like Peter Luca. Stroke of genius, anti-neo-colonial. Thought it worked with the Egypt 80. It's like Tucson meeting Dutch Bookman, free in Haiti. Fucking power, let the people pay me. Flyer than the Igbo landing, jamming with an evil lady. Chase the devil with the Batman light.
Well, a lot of people think this man is a future UFC champion. I'm not going to go that far just yet, but in terms of putting together a modern-day mixed martial arts athlete into one package, this kid can do it all.
Yeah, because you watch what you say. Guys like me will just scream, this guy's a future champion, but your word holds value, so you won't do that. But every now and again, there comes a guy that seems to have it. This guy has it. This guy, when you look at him, you see a championship belt around his waist because he can do it all. He's got high-level wrestling, high-level grappling, high-level striking. He reminds me of Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
There was no I wonder with Usman. It was when will it happen? This guy possesses that type of skill.
And he has sort of a championship aura, right? He walks into our fighter meeting, methodically managing his energy. Seems to be the total package. Obviously a perfect test for him right here, right now, at this stage of his career. So we get another look at this high-level wrestler here tonight, DC. When it comes to the grappling, the wrestling, fighting this guy makes for a really hard night at the office.
It makes for a hard night because the moment he gets close to you, it's like a fly stuck in fly paper. He sticks to you like glue. He moves from position to position seamlessly. He possesses great takedowns from the clinch, from a nice inside trip to a bear hug or a throw. He's just one of those guys that the moment he comes into contact with you, a lifetime of wrestling has shown him an amazing ability to get you to the floor.
Yeah, all of that one-on-one competition, as you mentioned, great in transition. Big spot, needless to say, for him here tonight. Islam Makhachev, he is ready to go. That means so are we for our main event of the evening. Our tail of the tape for this highly anticipated welterweight fight. We set it inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC welterweight champion, Jack Della. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev.
All right, Herb Dean, third man in the octagon for this one.
Ready.
All right, round getting underway, and we take a look at the Combat Sambo world champion and UFC lightweight contender, Islam Makhachev. What will he do in this fight? Well, oftentimes he does whatever he wants to do. Certainly he can impose his will on the ground, where his game is just so nuanced when it comes to the throws and the trips and the...
Oh, my God, he's hurt. He's hurt. That's got his guard pass. Oh, right in the mount. The fight's over.
Makhachev with a huge TKO victory.
Oh, my goodness.
So no judges needed tonight as he pounds him out for the TKO. I'm hoping I get an invite to the after party. All right, with that, the official decision is in. We go to the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 40 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Islam Makhachev.
Well, could you imagine what the celebration is like in his hometown right now after he gets the TKO win tonight? He said he wanted to leave the judges out of it. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. He left the judges out of it. The judges could have went to the concession stand because once he got his opponent hurt, he was not going to stop until he got that TKO.
There is no denying this man's striking credentials. Prevailing wisdom is he's going to try to keep this fight standing tonight.
He has to. You know, this is what got him to the show. It was being able to use the hands to set up the kicks. We all talk about the high-level boxing background of this young man. But as he's developed great knees.
Yeah.
He's developed great timing, great counter skills, and also the beautiful right high kick. The right high kick is something he hides very well as he follows with a jab, right hand, left hook. High kick comes over the top, and he can push it through.
No doubt about it. He will try to put on a striking clinic once again here tonight. So here's the former UFC welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman, and there is no taking this man's legacy away from him. I know he was disappointed with that Leon Edwards fight, but this man is going to get his roses, his Hall of Fame night. Still has a lot to accomplish, though, at least in his mind, right here, right now.
When you watch him in that fight, you still feel as though he was the best. He was winning the fight, and he got hit with a beautiful head kick by Leon Edwards. Kamaru Usman possesses all the skills, and that was one of the conversations we had. I said, I'm very proud as a brother of what you've become. He has everything, cardio, he has striking, he has wrestling. He's just a tremendous mixed martial artist. He just has to rebuild back to that championship level, and that starts tonight.
And you wonder if that result against Leon Edwards could actually be a benefit for Usman moving forward. We're going to get some answers here in short order. Graced the octagon, he is ready to fight. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. corner, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC welterweight champion, Leon Rocky Edwards. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the ring corner, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC welterweight champion, Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare, Usman.
The veteran Herbert Dean, our referee for this one.
Ready?
All right, so it all comes down to this for Leon Rocky Edwards, an outstanding boxer, trains in Birmingham, England by way of Jamaica. And he's a big boy, man, every bit 6 feet.
He's massive for this weight class. I remember in the first Usman fight, he trained at AKA with us to work on the wrestling, which allowed for him to defend a little bit. But he does not even look like that guy anymore as he steps into this fight with Usman, the greatest welterweight we have ever seen in the octagon.
Oh, brilliant execution to land the roundhouse.
Oh, man!
Oh, and he escapes up to his feet. Very nice. Targeting the body with the kick now.
Oh, nice double leg, yes.
All right, the referee not seeing enough action there. We go back to the center of the octagon now. Usman gets touched by that kick to the body.
Oh, man.
Big knee to the body.
He's got to keep pressing here.
Oh, big diving punch to the head. That'll do it. Make the bad man stop. A nice stoppage win for him here tonight, and the other side just couldn't handle the incoming assault. A flurry of punches, most of them upstairs, and when those big shots land repeatedly, the referee has no choice but to step in and call the fight. We set it inside the octagon for the official decision. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 37 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Leon Rocky Edwards.
Well, what a win for that young man tonight by TKO. And if the judges were looking at their phones, it's okay. We don't need the scorecards.
We don't need your scorecards. Do as you may. Proceed as you may. Because this guy knew that he had to finish this fight. That's exactly what he did. He got his opponent hurt, found the follow-up shot, and he got the finish.
That's a word that you can never win, but hey, I like the optimism. Giving over half my life to this, I think I made a good decision. Trust my gut, I hear it talk.
All right, get your Kazakhstan flag emojis ready. The undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov has arrived. And I don't care what you want to say about his pre-UFC schedule. When you can finish every single mixed martial arts athlete that they put with you in an octagon or cage, you are doing something right. He's got submission offense that a lot of this division can't lay claim to. He's an outstanding striker as well. And if he's got to win a kickboxing match here tonight and not lean on that patented grappling, he can probably do that to get the job done. But many believe you are looking live at become one of the best welterweights in the world and a future undisputed UFC champion. As highly touted a prospect as there is in mixed martial arts at present, enter the undefeated future Ian Machado Garry. Cardio is his best weapon. He hasn't even had to use it necessarily in realizing all of this UFC success thus far. Tremendous long-range weapons, underrated in the clinch, underrated as a grappler, but I guess for me, it's the appetite for knowledge that really jumps out of the fighter meeting. This man has traveled the world in search of different mixed martial arts skills and now training under the watchful eye of Diego Lima at Shootbox in Brazil. We'll see if Ian Machado Garry can take his career to that requisite next level here tonight. Well, so much UFC history is played out here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Plenty more where that came from tonight. The athletes are ready to go. Our tail of the tape for this highly anticipated welterweight fight. All right, we send it back inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Shavkat Nurmagomedov. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, the future, Ian Machado Garry.
Herb Dean, third man in the octagon tonight. All right, early round action here as we get a look at Uzbekistan's Shavkat Rakhmonov. He has taken the UFC welterweight division by storm. He's got a whole lot of momentum coming in here tonight. Believes he'll have the grappling advantage, but he also said to us midweek, if this is a kickboxing match, I think I can thrive in that realm as well.
He loaded up there on that high kick.
Oh, another massive kick. Oh, and there's that head kick. He kept talking about the opening that would be there on Thursday. Those words proving prophetic right there.
I mean, his vision and his timing allows him to get that technique off.
Oh, switch kick. Nailed it. Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect, and this guy has done this technique thousands of times. Lands a nice leg kick.
Oh, he's got him hurt badly now.
He's brutalized him with the ground and pound.
That is it! Too good.
Jeez Louise.
Well, make no mistake about it, he is getting 2 paychecks tonight as he gets the big TKO victory. Wow.
That's unbelievable. It was crazy to watch his finishing instincts on display as he got that massive victory. It was amazing, John. It was amazing. I mean, just landed that beautiful kick right under the ribs. You could see immediately the effect that it took on his opponent as his opponent went back to the edge of the octagon, fell down to the ground, and he finished the fight.
All right, now we go inside the octagon. Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 14 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Shavkat Nurmagomedov.
Well, the celebration is on over there in the corner, and nothing subdued about it. They put a lot of time into this training camp and into this performance, and certainly their athlete delivered.
It was a result that they desired. They said, I don't care how this match ends, as long as I'm not standing there waiting on the judges. He got his opponent hurt, and he found the follow-up shots that allowed him to get the TKO.
So here's a fighter that a lot of people have been talking about here during fight week, really just because of the nature of his skill set. I haven't seen much in terms of a glaring weakness on film. Your thoughts?
It doesn't seem like there is one. You know, when you're watching the film and you're critiquing him, there's not much to critique. When you're trying to break down where the weaknesses are, there aren't many. The guy can wrestle, he can grapple, he's got tremendous cardio, great top control, insane durability. He's got it all. He's one of the best mixed martial artists we have seen come on the scene for a long time. But he's got to continue to prove it if he wants to stay where he is right now in the UFC.
And perhaps his greatest asset, at least thus far, has been his instinctual nature in the octagon, right? Just knowing which skill to employ at the right time. And certainly he's got essentially every skill you would want in an MMA arsenal. This is about as decorated a kickboxer as has come into this division in some time, DC. And if we get a kickboxing match tonight, he ain't losing.
He is a championship-level kickboxer, a guy that can stand in the pocket and trade and kick and punch with anyone. He's constantly throwing things from as close as you can get. He's comfortable throwing leg kicks. He will drive these into your body. But it's the aggressiveness and the ability and willingness to stand in the pocket and trade that makes him truly, truly special. I think that is what separates kickboxing, the high level, everyone else.
He understands distance as well as any striker in this division. Of course, that is a byproduct of a lifetime of repetitions in the kickboxing space. All right, with that, both fighters have now graced the octagon. They will lock the door behind them, ready to go with a crazy fight here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. All right, now for the official introductions, we go to the veteran voice of the octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel Rodriguez. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Joaquin Numeza Barclay.
So Herb Dean, third man in there for this one.
Ready.
All right, here we go, champ. I know you've had your eyes on this fight all week as we get round one underway. On one side, you have a decorated kickboxer. On the other side, one of the more well-rounded athletes in this division.
But the kickboxer can...
Well, he's going to enjoy watching this one back. Let's take a look at the replay of the knockout just a moment ago.
It was right hand after right hand after right hand. Finally, he found the one that hit the exact sweet spot that ended his opponent's night.
Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 16 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Daniel D1 Rodriguez.
So the celebration is on with him and his team, and rightfully so. A monumental result tonight as he gets the win by knockout.
He spoke it into existence. He said over and over to anyone that'll listen, I am going to knock this man out. He did it in an even more impressive fashion than he ever could have imagined.
Think is this outrageous? At this point, if you don't see I'm one of the greatest, played a long time up in the league with the
All right, so another big spot for this high-level wrestler here tonight, and the opposition knows what's coming, but more often than not in the UFC, they've been on a stop.
It's because since a little boy, he spent his life on the wrestling mat. And even though you start to prepare for it late, you cannot match his ability to train, his ability to focus. The idea that once he gets a hold of you, it only ends with him in top position. It does not matter if he has to get a high crotch. It does not matter if he needs to get a single leg or a double leg. The purpose is to get you to the floor, and he has been trained his entire life to do just that.
Yeah, you put it well. He's got a lot of throws and takedowns and trips in his arsenal, and he'll try to put them to good use in this matchup here tonight. Yes, the sweet science. This guy could have been a professional boxer, probably a world champion if he so chose. He loves the MMA game, but his boxing is certainly his bread and butter.
I mean, a guy that was on par to make an Olympic team, and that is in one specific skill set. When you reach that level, when you're winning the national championship, and you're about to go to the Olympics, but you choose a different avenue.
Yeah.
You decide you want to fight mixed martial arts. It's truly something special. He has the most educated jab I have ever seen in the octagon. He throws the jab, it always comes back to the face. It never goes to the hip. And if you rush him, he has the ability to switch stances from conventional to southpaw and land a great counter right hand that will... Oh, it's unbelievable. Put Rosendo Sanchez to shame.
Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. Now for the official introductions, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC welterweight champion, Belal, remember the name, Muhammad. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Michael Morales.
And there's Herb Dean, who will handle the action inside the octagon.
Good.
All right, here we go, round one with Belal. I'm not sure how many more of these his opponent can take.
Massive shot that he landed. Great job.
Big left hand there inside. Ooh. So how about that? What a moment for this fighter as he pounds him out for the TKO win. Relentless strikes landed across the board and a huge, huge win in his career.
John, that was so impressive. What an amazing display of finishing ability by this young fighter.
Bruce Buffer now has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 23 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Michael Morales!
Well, there he is, the man of the hour. And you got to think this dude's going to get a serious Instagram push tonight after the win by TKO.
Oh, he's going to get a massive push because he hurt his opponent and he pressed his foot down on the gas until he got that finish. That was amazing.
If you're just getting into fighting and you're looking for a fighter to support, you can do worse than Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Really a guy who's easy to root for and coming off some of the biggest wins of his career recently.
He is starting to get everything right. For as long as Jorge Masvidal has been in this game, you always had the feeling that there was still work to be done in order to truly reach his optimal form. I feel like now he's finally getting it. And people overlook the fighter's mentality of Jorge Masvidal. We talk about Kimbo Slice in the backyard fighting, but Jorge Masvidal was right next to him.
Right.
He was back there fighting just for the sake of fighting. And he has done that in the octagon, and now he's finally putting it all together as he tries to make his way to a UFC title fight.
Jorge Gamebred Masvidal steps inside the octagon. He is ready to fight. So here is Robbie Lawler still going strong nearly 20 years after his UFC debut back in 2002. Lawler's reinvented himself a little bit down in South Florida. He believes he is in the best shape of his life in advance of this one team.
And by going down to South Florida and finding a new team, you saw a change in Robbie Lawler, which led to a UFC title reign that had masterful performances. The win over Carlos Condit was crazy. The win over Rory McDonald. The fight, the ability to withstand punishment and continue to press forward and hold on to that title showed you that Robbie Lawler was a different guy and was ready to reach all the potential that his coaches said from day one.
And the beauty of Robbie Lawler, too, he is the consummate fan favorite. Without even having to open his mouth, he doesn't have to say anything.
He doesn't talk.
People love him for his fighting style, and we will see if he can make one more climb to welterweight gold and blue. Our tail of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. To get us started with the official introductions, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former UFC welterweight champion and the member of the UFC Hall of Fame, Ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Herb Dean, our referee for this one.
Ready. Good.
All right, here we go, round one. There he is, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Most of his fights in the UFC have gone the distance, but when he has finished, more often than not, it's been early. So you got to be mindful of the Masvidal power here early on. Masvidal on a real flow here, sticking and moving. Crowd is like just reacting every time he moves.
Masvidal now has the crowd eating out of his hands. The one thing about Jorge that makes him so difficult to deal with is he never allows you to traffic. When you think you got him trapped to try to hit you for a takedown, he evades and escapes. He's a phenomenal fighter.
Missed with that right hand. Oh, that's going to soften him up. Massive knee to the body. Looks as though that kick to the body got through.
Quick jab lands there.
Push kick there to the body. Swing and a miss with that punch by Lawler.
Push through it.
Unable to connect with a right hook. Unbelievable! Jorge Masvidal!
Holy smokes!
Bruce Buffer has your official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 48 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
All right, so you heard it there from Bruce. Jorge Masvidal, your winner by knockout here tonight. Not quite as dramatic as Askren stiff as a board, but pretty close.
Yeah, really good. I mean, he does a great job of finding his shots, making them count, and they produce these types of results. He always says his intention is to get the knockout. Tonight he got that result. Congratulations to Gamebred and his entire team.
The king of Miami getting a big knockout here tonight. Congratulations. Well, Paul Felder wants his teammate Sean Brady's nickname to be Brickhouse, and I'm not sure there's a more appropriate moniker for this guy than that. Have you ever seen a fighter respond better to a loss than Sean Brady did against Kelvin Gastelum after he was humbled by Bilal remembered the name Muhammad? This man's wrestling and grappling and sheer physical strength is as scary a proposition, I would think, for any future welterweight contender. And now with momentum reacquired, we'll see if Sean Brady can take that requisite next step. As Nate Diaz gets set to make this walk here tonight. You never know when is going to be the last time we see this guy compete, but there's a lot to like when we see Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz is a savage, a guy that just epitomizes fighter. From the attitude, the walk, the music, everything tells you that when Nate Diaz shows up, you're getting ready to watch a fight. A fantastic striker and a great jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Yep.
Nate Diaz is just a well-rounded fighter and one of the biggest stars in the UFC.
We've seen the Stockton slap before. I'll set the total.
It's just so disrespectful.
Over under 1.5.
So
think he throws it tonight?
It's just so disrespectful, but it's so Nate Diaz.
All right, we'll see if he invokes the Stockton slap here tonight. But Nate Diaz is back, and hopefully in a big way for his supporters around the world. Our tail of the tape for this highly anticipated welterweight fight. All right, now for the particulars inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Sean Brady. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, an Ultimate Fighter season winner, Nate Diaz.
Herb Dean, our third man in the octagon for this one.
Let's do it.
All right, Philadelphia, PA is on the mat, courtesy of Sean Brady, one of the oncoming welterweight contenders in this division. He would tell you he's the most avoided guy in this division, but the opponent tonight had no problem signing on the dotted line. We'll see if Brady can get his wrestling game going early in this round tonight. Yeah, man, crowd loving it. Just a gorgeous shot there to end the fight. Really just the way he drew it up. He found the opening and capitalized on it to the utmost extent. Nicely done to finish the fight. Bruce Buffer is here. He has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 18 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Sean Brady!
Well, he's smiling ear to ear, and why not after a knockout like that? I need a ticket to the after party tonight.
I mean, this is what dreams are made of. You dream of the knockout like this, and then the party after, where you and all your coaches get to celebrate the great handiwork.
much every time out in the UFC, DC, this man has put on a striking clinic, and that is his methodology coming in here tonight. He'll try to keep the fight on the foot.
And that's why we tune in, right? That's why we tune in. We tune in to see guys that are dynamic. We tune in for the speed. We tune in for the knowledge of the striking game, the ability to set traps, the ability to find the jab, the ability to find the right hand, the right kick, the left kick, the knees, the elbows. He truly uses every weapon that he has in his arsenal to try and finish his opponent. You make one mistake, night's over. You cannot make mistakes against a guy that has the striking acumen of this guy right here.
And the jab is not as underutilized a weapon as it was in MMA, say 5 or 7 years ago, but he's got as good a jab as anyone in the business, and that is where all of his striking flows off of. We'll see how it goes for him in this matchup tonight. All right, so here's the world beater, Khamzat Chimaev, wicked relevant in 2 divisions. Every time he sees you and tries to take you down, got to think he's going to try to wrestle here tonight.
That's exactly what he does, right? He wants to impose himself on his opponents. He wants to show his dominance when he's inside the octagon, whether it's on the ground in the grappling, as we saw in Kevin Holland, or whether it's him striking, as we have seen in the beginning of his UFC career. He has all the skills, but it's the mindset of Khamzat Chimaev that separates him from most fighters in both weight classes that he competes in.
And with respect to Conor McGregor and everybody else, I'm not sure that any athlete has ever taken this sport by storm quite the way Chimaev did back in 2020. Let's see how he fares in another big spot tonight. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. Here once more is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Randy Rude Boy Brown. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Khamzat Chimaev.
One of the best in the business, Herb Dean, is our referee tonight. All right, Khamzat Chimaev is back as this round gets underway. Undefeated fighter who has officially taken the sport by storm. His fight against Gilbert Burns back in UFC 273 probably is going to end up in the Hall of Fame. But Khamzat didn't want to talk about that this week at all. He wants a quick night at the office. He wants to get a finish and actually said he believed. Oh, massive. And that'll do it! Khamzat Chimaev, one and done. Just a relentless effort out of this fighter here tonight. The ref had no choice but to step in, and that is how you leave the judges out of it. The official decision is inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean's called a stop to this contest at 24 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Khamzat Chimaev.
All right, right, so it goes into the books as a TKO win for Khamzat Chimaev. Certainly a happy corner after that performance, and now we'll see what they do with him moving forward, but a performance that deserves to be celebrated here
Absolutely.
tonight.
They should celebrate this. I mean, it's hard when you have a guy like Khamzat who's a perfectionist.
Right.
He wants to show out every single time. Tonight he showed out, he dominated and won a fight in a way that he almost called by getting his TKO. He's an amazing fighter, and I'm excited to see what the future brings for Khamzat.
Yeah, he says... We'll see how it goes for this decorated kickboxer. Nice to see him cross over into the UFC, and a lot of people feel like if he can get on sort of an Alex Pineda-type trajectory in terms of the work ethic and the approach, could be a future world champion.
Well, he looks like it. He seems to have all the skills, and he says the right thing. We were talking to him the other day. He spoke about all the time they're spending in the gym working on the wrestling, because he knows that the kickboxing is embedded in him. He has done it so long, he can do it on cruise control. The wrestling has improved, and he said because his wrestling's improved, guys are going to have to stand with him. When they have to stand, he said the lights will be shut off. Yeah. I cannot wait to see him.
Dude's got power everywhere, and that's why a lot of these fans have traveled far and wide to see him compete live here tonight. Leon Rocky Edwards, ready to reward his supporters once again here tonight. DC, should be interesting to see how it goes for him here tonight. I know you, as a high-level wrestler and Olympian yourself, are always curious to see guys who wrestled collegiately on this level now apply their trade to UFC.
You know, you look at this guy and you think about his past, you think about his background, how he has been trained from his youth to be here. Even though he understood he wanted to be a mixed martial artist, his dad knew that he had to wrestle. And that wrestling took him through college, and it leads him to the UFC. That is why you see him approach fights in the way that he does. It's been embedded in this kid. And if he can continue to evolve his entire mixed martial arts game to match his wrestling level, he's hell on wheels. He's shown that to this point.
And one thing he has focused on is being more active when he does get the fight to the ground. So perhaps we'll see an uptick in the ground and pound here tonight as this high-level wrestler gets back to work. Our tail of the tape for this highly anticipated welterweight fight. All right, now for the introductions, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the former UFC welterweight champion, Leon Rocky Edwards. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, presenting the former UFC lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev.
Herbert Dean's in the building. He is the third man in the octagon tonight. All right, it is the UFC's unofficial home base, T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and 18,000 plus are expected on hand tonight for what should be an epic UFC live event.
It is going to be a phenomenal fight night in a fantastic arena. T-Mobile Arena, the home of the UFC.
With a huge knockout tonight.
What a fight! What a fight!
We go inside the octagon to Bruce Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean's called a stop to this contest at 24 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Islam Makhachev.
All right, so there he is, the man of the hour. What a massive knockout for him to get this win in style tonight.
He did everything he needed to do to find the knockout. Now he can celebrate with his family and friends as they earn this spectacular victory.
All right, so you can sort of feel an uptick in terms of the crowd energy. A lot of these fans came to watch this man who you think has the skill set to be a future UFC champion.
On record saying it, I believe this kid has a huge future ahead of him. He has a ton of skills. He checks all the boxes. He's got the wrestling, he's got the grappling, he's got the cardio, he's got the toughness. He can do it all. But it is on him now to make good on all the work that him and his team have done to put him in this position.
And the UFC, as you well know, does a masterful job with the matchmaking. When a fighter is this hyped and gets to this point of their career, they give him a guy who they think can beat him. See how he handles this challenge tonight. Born in Uzbekistan, where they fight at weddings. Here is Kazakhstan's Shavkat Rakhmonov, one of the best welterweight prospects in the world. He has finished every single one of his professional wins. He has never tasted defeat. And even though he is not in any great rush for a championship opportunity, the fan base is. They want this man fighting for the title with immediacy. He's sort of contented to bide his time. This is the big spot here tonight. If he can win this fight and handle this particular stylistic challenge, for my money, there's nothing left. All eyes on Kazakhstan Shavkat Rakhmonov here tonight. So much UFC history is played out here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Plenty more where that came from tonight. The athletes are ready to go. Our tale of the tape for this welterweight fight. We go inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Daniel Rodriguez. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Herb Dean, third party in the octagon tonight. All right, early round action here featuring the first Kazakh fighter to sign a contract with the UFC, Uzbekistan's Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's one of the gets on to beat his opponent in a lot of trouble now.
That was Cain Velasquez's punch of choice. Every time he landed that overhand right, he hurt people bad. And this guy
And there it is!
Holy smokes!
I mean, you gotta be kidding me with that knockout. If that is not the #1 play on SportsCenter tonight, I'm not sure what would top it. One of the best knockouts we've seen all year.
In a very long time. I have not seen someone look this good. He promised us something, and he delivered with that beautiful knockout.
Back inside the arena now, we go inside the octagon where Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean's called a stop to this contest at 20 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Daniel Rodriguez.
All right, so there he is, the man of the moment, celebrating one of the bigger knockout victories of his career. And gotta be nice sometimes with all the hard work that you guys put in when it goes down exactly the way you drew it up.
A lot of people talk about doing certain things. It's harder to deliver on those promises you make to the public. Tonight, he did exactly that. Congratulations.
Say less. Say less.
You know they're packed to the nines and buying on pay-per-view when this man makes the walk. He is Jorge Game-Bred Masvidal with respect to Colby Covington. This is the king of the 305, but he needs a win tonight.
He needs a win, John. He's got to get his hand raised because popularity lasts, but it tends to falter whenever you aren't winning fights. Masvidal needs a win right now, and how do you do that? For Game-Bred, he's got to use his boxing, he's got to use his footwork, and he's got to use his conditioning to allow for him to get a victory. Most important thing for this guy tonight is getting his hand raised.
Yeah.
And he needs to be one of the best fighters in the world in order to do that.
And oftentimes he is fighting the best guys, just given his name value, his high-profile status in the UFC. But Jorge Game-Bred Masvidal really could use a big W here in this big spot tonight. This fighter has read the Marquess of Queensberry rules cover to cover. Truly one of the best boxers we have in the UFC today, and he works everything off of that jab.
Oh, yeah, the jab is what got him to the show. He is just a phenomenal boxer, and John, I love you throwing out the Queensberry rules in the walkout for this man because he signifies everything that is boxing. He's a guy that loves the sport. He wanted to take boxing on his back and bring it to mixed martial arts and show that it is as an effective form of combat as anything else. He said, I'll walk away from an Olympic opportunity to take my sport into the octagon and show that we are the best fighters in the world. And he's done that to this point in the UFC.
Why, with that, both fighters have now graced the octagon. They will lock the door behind them, ready to go with a crazy fight here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. And now to get us started, here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Jorge Game-Bred Masvidal. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Michael Morales.
Herb Dean, our referee for this one.
Good.
The calm, cool, collected Jorge Gamebred. That's what he needs.
I mean, he is throwing those kicks with evil intent. He is trying to break his leg with every single kick. Beautiful ground strikes landed.
And the referee brings the fight back to its feet. No surprise there. Needed to see more action. Gamebred gets touched by that kick there. What an absolutely crazy knockout here, and that's going to be a hard knockout from which to recover for his opponent, but the celebration is on. One of the biggest wins in his UFC career.
Massive win for this young fighter. He got the knockout victory. What a performance.
Here's the buff with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 39 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Michael Morales!
Oh, well, there he is after a huge knockout win tonight. You going to the after party or what?
I mean, I'm heading over there right now, John. I'm asking the producers, how soon can I get up? Because it's going to be a party over there. Not only because of the knockout, but that extra bonus check he's going to be carrying to the club tonight.
Well, there's always a special feeling when Khamzat Chimaev makes the walk, whether at welterweight or at middleweight. This man has proven to be a real problem and really has lived up to all the hype and then some, dating to his 2020 UFC debut.
It's so hard for you to meet expectation, much less exceed it.
Right.
Khamzat Chimaev has exceeded the expectations set for him when he made his UFC debut. He has been nothing short of a buzzsaw, just going through guys at a rate that not anyone could have expected. What a fantastic fighter we get to watch every time we see Khamzat in the octagon.
And of course, many people harken back to the Gilbert Burns fight in 2022, the consensus fight of that year in which Chimaev was challenged and still rose to the occasion. We'll see how he fares tonight. So here's the budding UFC welterweight contender out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Sean Brickhouse Brady. What a win over Kelvin Gastelum late in 2023, and that got him back on a championship trajectory. There are not a lot of guys asking for this matchup. Many believe in terms of the pure grappling mixed with the wrestling, this is the best ground fighter in the entire UFC welterweight division. When the hands start to catch up with those skills, scary proposition for all of the elite 170-pounders. But a lot of fight fans and pundits agree, eventually Sean Brady is going to fight for a world title. Well, so much UFC history has played out here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Plenty more.
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
All right, early round action here. We'll see if tonight is the night that Sean Brady fights. Oh, it landed. He hurt it. Hurt him again. That'll do it. Khamzat Chimaev with one of the greatest knockouts you will see.
I mean,
So how about that as he pounds him out for the TKO? Prioritized the finish tonight. Absolutely gets it with style points. A huge, huge result here in this arena tonight.
It's always fun to see an athlete tell you what they're going to do, and then they do it. This guy told us he was going to get a finish, and that's
I got blood on my face, I got blood on my hand, I got blood on the floor, I got blood on my face. I'm about to take someone out, I'm about to take someone out, I'm about to take someone out.
Plenty ways get rich, plenty ways get hit. Run up the bands, I may how the man get the cake, but I stay out the mix. Stack up the cheddar, got plenty ways. I'm a
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
All right, here we go with round one, DC. I know you have been tracking this wrestler all week long. Figures to have a decided advantage in that realm, but on the other side, as well-rounded a threat as he has faced in the UFC.
And one of the better guys at staying upright, so all of his skills will be tested and tested at the highest level because he's a more well-rounded guy. He understands takedown defense, understands the striking and the grappling. So getting the takedown is only one phase of this. Even if he takes him down, the submission threat is very present with his well-rounded opponent.
First takedown attempt for the wrestler here, and he's able to get the more well-rounded fighter to the ground. So the striker gets a little bit off balance and pays the ultimate price.
But we know this is where this guy wants to be. Now, his opponent is a very good grappler, but this is his wheelhouse. This is where he makes his money, and if he's on the ground on top, he is exactly where he wants to be.
You have to fight back.
Oh, man, what a strike from the bottom.
All right, so not enough action there on the ground. The referee brings the fight back to the feet, and we are back underway. Yeah, that was just a gorgeous shot to end the fight right there. I'm not even sure the opponent really saw it coming. So back to the drawing board for him, but for the winner, this is certainly exactly what he was looking for here tonight. The official decision is in. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute, 17 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez.
Fight them all, swag, try to stop the streets, they think too hot. Dirty cop, hella unfamiliar faces on the block. On the spot, never know who's greedy, eyes on what you got. Bring the squad, trying to take from us, you better do it, God. Yes, sir, if I say it, that's...
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
All right, here we go with the start of the round, and all eyeballs are fixed upon Khamzat Chimaev. More often than not, it's a short night at the office. How will he choose to proceed tonight? Will he go to the hand?
He's in a lot of trouble.
Herb Dean steps in! Oh, my God! What a fight! So what a moment in this man's career. A huge finish in front of a capacity crowd. After party's going to be on fire. How about it?
I mean, I'm just sitting here stunned because to watch a young athlete have a performance like this was really amazing. The finishing instincts.
What you mean you don't know how I'm stepping? What you mean you don't know what I'm repping? I'm feeling my hood like they told me to bless me. You back in my side, you gotta come and check in. After we get hectic, telling me start up on you, no one
right, so here's the world beater, Khamzat Chimaev, wicked relevant in 2 divisions. Every time he sees you, he tries to take you down. Gotta think he's gonna try to wrestle here tonight.
That's exactly what he does, right? He wants to impose himself on his opponents. He wants to show his dominance when he's inside the octagon, whether it's on the ground or the grappling, as we saw in Kevin Holland, or whether it's him striking, as we have seen in the beginning of his UFC career. He has all the skills, but it's the mindset of Khamzat Chimaev that I think separates him from most fighters in both weight classes that he competes in.
And with respect to Conor McGregor and everybody else, I'm not sure that any athlete has ever taken this sport by storm quite the way Chimaev did back in 2020. Let's see how he fares in another big spot tonight. So this #1 welterweight contender has found his way back to a title fight. A lot of people didn't think he would get there, and he's made a career of proving doubters wrong.
You know, he carries a chip on his shoulder. You tell this man that he can't do something, right? He will make it a point to get that done. He said the moment he walked out the octagon last time and didn't win the belt, that I will be back. Many smirked at him. Many laughed, but his inner circle believed that it was only a matter of time before their guy got another chance, and when he got here, he would get the job done.
Now, some would argue he wasn't ready the first time around. I think that's probably a little bit too simplistic, but there's no denying. He has rounded out his game, he has evolved, he's maximized the developmental time, and a lot of people believe we will have a new champion by that time. All right, with that, both fighters have now graced the octagon. They will lock the door behind them, ready to go with a crazy fight here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And now our tale of the tape for this welterweight championship fight. We send it inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. It's time! 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC welterweight championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Khamzat Chimaev. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Daniel Rodriguez.
Referee Herb Dean will handle the action in the octagon. Good. All right, here we go. Khamzat Chimaev, with much fanfare, is back as this round gets underway, and not the fight during which to get up and grab a beer. This man usually works quickly, fights as if he's double parked out front, and he believes in this particular matchup that he's in real trouble now. Oh, heavy shots continue to rain down. All right, let's get you some replays now. Certainly a lot for our replay guys to work with in the truck. This was a clinic tonight in terms of mixed martial arts acumen in every realm of the game.
And once he got to the top, he started to land brutal ground and pound until the fight was called off. Just a dominant performance from the top position.
The official decision is in. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 29 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, Daniel Rodriguez.
And new UFC welterweight champion. Those words sound good. He's going to enjoy watching this one back. There's a new king at 170 pounds.
There is nothing better
than hearing "and new." It's almost like the weight has been lifted off of your shoulders. The journey is complete. You are now the UFC champion.